Hey, good morning. This is Tim O. It's Wednesday morning, 64 degrees. It's going to be a mostly sunny day. It's sunny out there now, and it's so nice to wake up, go out there, spray down the yard for the upcoming day, put out some plants, make the yard look beautiful. I get to do these things. It's not that I have to. I get to do these things. I get to see the smile on Carol's face when she sees the flowers and stuff out there, and that's really a blessing. And I love the early. I live on the pond, and I look out and I see the early morning light. A couple hours ago, whatever it was, shimmering, starting to shimmer across the water, and that sun just rising up over the horizon. I got Route 2 over there. I can hear the cars coming down, people going to early morning work, but mostly it's silent. Mostly, it's silent in the morning. I got all my little animal friends that come, the squirrels, the chipmunks. They don't even fear me. They come right up to me and they dare and they give me the little face and then they run off. And that's such a cool thing, man. You know, and I love being out there at the break of dawn. You know, just when the dark is just starting to turn to light. And that wasn't always the case. When I was in my active addiction, I hated the mornings. I hated um, hearing the birds. I hated seeing that sunlight come in, through the blinds. I'd be cursing it. I'd be yelling out the window at the damn birds like they're gonna stop because of me. But I'd be hungover. I'd be dope sick. I'd be just hurting, and then I gotta go to work, and I'm thinking of schemes of how am I gonna call in sick when they just seen me the day before and I wasn't sick, and all those things that go on in your head, when you get so used to living that life, man, it's just friggin' chaotic craziness. But we settle for less, and we do this stuff, and it's a horrible way of, it's basically existing. It isn't living. Addiction, alcoholism, whatever the case may be, it's not living. You're just working for the next one. Your paycheck is to just get more. You get your paycheck on a Friday, by Saturday you owe money. By the next paycheck you owe half of it out, plus your rent and everything else. It's a sick, sick thing. But that isn't today. Today is a new day. Whatever happened yesterday, I can mend it. Sometimes we say things, or I say things, I want to catch them in midair and pull them back, but I can't. And that's why the 10th step is like to kind of, promptly, if you're wrong, say, hey, I'm wrong. But sometimes we don't follow everything. We're human beings. But if I was out of line, or I said something, or I was in a mode, most likely mad at myself about something, I can go out there and I can apologize to Carol. I can apologize to anybody I may say or do that may hurt them. And that's a blessing, and every day it's like a blank canvas, and I get to paint my masterpiece, and whatever that may be. My day might not be an exciting one in your world, but I don't live in your world, or I live in your world, but I don't live for other people's compliments, or I don't live other people's lives. I live my life. And sometimes it's routine, and sometimes I'm just spontaneous. I just want to go somewhere, but mostly, I try to do my job, try to get a meeting in each day. That one down in Harvard Square is convenient at 12 o'clock. I really like those people. It's such a diverse meeting of, the old, the young, people that are new coming into recovery, people that have been around for years. And then I get to go to the gym, take a nice walk, go downtown, or just come back here. I'm getting older. I can't do, but I can do a lot. I shouldn't say that, but there's some things, I get a little bit tired now. I'm a walker. I've been walking my whole life, and thank God my legs are still sturdy enough to do it. But today is like a rebirth. It's like the slate is clean, and I can just build upon it, and that's what I plan to do. And most of it is to bring new hope to people on here. That's why if you, my name is Tim. I live in a small town. I'm an ordinary guy. If you want to hear, just regular life stories and just, doing what you can, please subscribe. And if somebody's going through a tough time, they're just like, in a dark place, share my videos with them, because I'm not saying I'm a cure-all, but sometimes, just seeing a total stranger talking about how he lives, and and it's not all extravagant things, I don't, just because I got clean, I'm not riding around in a Cadillac and all this stuff. I'm basically not, I don't have good eyesight. I can't drive, but my legs still work, and that's pretty cool, and the new day is here. It's been born as of like 4:30 this morning. I had a nice coffee, listen to some really great music, and that clears my mind for the upcoming day to come. Whatever remaining doubts I may have about yesterday or whatever, I can work them out and work them to my ability. I'm not trying to go too extravagant. I'm not trying to do things that are beyond my needs and beyond my ability to do. I'm just taking it easy, doing my thing, and getting good results, And as that sun's breaking through, it's a reminder that, no darkness has to remain in my life. I've said and done some crazy stuff in the addictive world that I lived in for many years. And, hey, we all do things and things get crazy, but if I just focus on everything I did and not what I'm doing today, moving forward, I can keep going back and I did this and I did that, or I didn't do this and I wasn't this guy. But listen, that doesn't do nothing for me. Even, people have been saying in meetings like, what, Tim, why don't you talk more about the horror stories of addiction and stuff? And you know what? I talk about more of the recovery thing, but I do talk about those stories, but I don't have to go into specifics and details and talk about the drugs and all that stuff, because that stuff really doesn't do nothing for me, and I don't really think it does anything for the people out there that are hearing it. Sure, when you first come in, you want to hear all the horror stories, you want to hear all the trouble and the chaos and all that stuff, because you're in it, and why wouldn't you identify with that? But, sometimes I remember a guy, people had told me, I used to talk all about that stuff. There was nothing about recovery. It's just all about friggin' horror shows and days gone by. And I gained a faith in a higher power, and whatever that may be for you, I don't tell anybody what to do. I have my own higher power. I don't need to go into it because it's mine. And I use it to the best of my ability. And I know that there is something greater than myself out there. What it is, I don't know, but I believe. And as long as I believe, I'm good good with it. And you know what? And I believe that there is hope in every single one of us. If we do a little work, we step by, we get out of our own way. We follow a little bit in the light instead of always being in the dark, always being negative. Those can't, won't, words like that, they're all negative stuff, And, if you stay in the light will reign. And you can find some peace of mind, some happiness. You can be a power of example to your kids who may have seen what you were and didn't really want much to do with you, or even an ex or a girlfriend that, you can be a power of example, because it's never too late to learn, to be open-minded, to gather things, and to keep on trucking. So today, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to enjoy my day. I hope and wish that you do the same. And whatever, like I said, if something's bugging you, or somebody that's going through some stuff, please share this with them. Listen, it's not all going to be fairy tales and rainbows. That's just not life. We live on life's terms, and life deals the cards. and we either fall from them, or we play our hand, and we take a chance. And I had to take a chance on this clean and sober life in order to be able to live, to be a boyfriend, to be a father, to be a respectable person, and to be good to myself. I wasn't good to myself. I was my worst enemy. I beat the shit out of myself more than anybody could ever do to me. And I don't wish to do that no more. So listen, enjoy your day. This is Timo wishing you some fantastic moments ahead. Enjoy those moments. And listen, just remember, if you're starting off today and you're having a bad day, you don't have to carry it in with you the whole day and make everybody miserable. You can change it. You can. Believe me, I didn't think I could, but I can. Just takes a little effort. Be well and take care.